Hello, I'm Benny Westside, and welcome to the crash course for Blade. He's finally here. People have been asking for this guy since the beginning of this game, and 6.5 years in, he's finally here. Um, Today we're going to talk about Blade's abilities, T4 upgrades, ISO 8 options, how much to build, Dark Dimension prospects, and then my plan. That way, if you unlock him today with offers or down the line uh, via the constipated release, you know, or you're more informed in how you build him. Before we get into it, I do want to say I have a Crash Course infographic. I put these out with every Crash Course video. I will link it down below, but you can take a screenshot right now. This is for you to have as a reference for quick reference when you unlock him. But in the video, we're going to talk about my reasoning behind some of these actions or behind some of these decisions or recommendations, and we're also going to just go deeper into how Blade works. All right. Now let's start with his abilities. I like to start with the passive. Daywalker. Sorry, one moment. Alright. Unfortunately, Blade has awakened abilities as well, so we're gonna talk about both sets of upgrades. Alright. Daywalker. Characters killed by Blade cannot be revived. This is nice. This is, I think, the third or fourth character that has this, where they're like the character's just a perma killer. At the end of any turn, flip slow and offense down on 2 random Night Stalker allies that have those debuffs. This character's attacks deal an additional 20% piercing to any vampire enemies. That's going to be himself, Karen Page, Oath, and Morbius, as well as am I allowed to say it? Some data mined PvE characters. I'll leave it at that. I don't know. Maybe I broke NDA. I don't know. Gain 30% drain. Night Stalker allies gain 30% drain. This is very nice. This team doesn't have that much healing built in. They're gonna like having this 30% drain. Unsuccessful attack by this character. This is the T4, sorry. Unsuccessful attack by this character. Clear defense up and defense down, and apply defense down to each attack target. This is nice. Instead of saying flip, it says clear and then apply. So if they have defense up and safeguard, he's going to try to... If it was flip, he wouldn't have done anything. But now he is going to try to clear it. Safeguard's going to prevent that, but he's still going to apply the defense down. So that's nice. As an overall, I think this is a very nice upgrade. It's on any attack. So... And it's each attack target, it's not just primary. It's going to work on his ISO as well. So I think this is a ISO and assist. We're going to talk about the assist in a moment. So I think that's a very, very high value upgrade. I would recommend it. Now let's talk about his awakening. I don't know yet how this is going to be made available. I try not to say any awakened ability is essential because most of the time, or at least often, they're released in a very limited manner, often just by offers blatantly. So I'm not gonna call it essential at any of them. Just FYI. All right. On self or ally crit, on the following ally turn, gain assist now. This is a very nice thing. It's not like Logan where he always assists now. But crits are frequent enough that this is going to proc a lot. And then just to boost that a little bit, he's going to give 10% crit chance to self and all allies. This is very, very nice. If this were a T4, I wouldn't have called it essential. I might have called it almost essential. yeah, it's very, very nice. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not a guaranteed assist on every ally, but crits happen often enough, especially if you surround him with raiders. Alright, his ultimate, Damper's Fury. This is on a 6-turn cooldown. Attack primary for piercing, rewind by 25%. Attack primary and adjacent for piercing, rewind by 25%. So the primary is already down 50% at this point. Clear immunity plus apply disrupt for 2 turns. This attack ignores defense up, is unavoidable, and cannot be blocked. And then also, don't forget, on every enemy, he's also going to clear their defense up and apply defense down. The T4 adds 40% piercing to primary and secondary targets, and he also steals 20% health from primary and redistributes to self, just primary, and this bypasses heal block. I would say this is also very, very nice. I don't know if it's essential. If you're going into Dark Dimension with him, yes, essential. But for the rest of the game, it's very, very nice. I don't think it's essential. It just adds more damage. If it's something like a 60% health steal, like Apocalypse, where it can have like serious implications, I think that would have been more on the essential side. I'm not gonna call this essential. Now looking at the Awakened ability, when I said serious, my Siri over here just lost her mind. Alright, the Awakened ability, that happens so much. Whenever like on stream, Zero joins and I greet him with like, hey, my phone, my iPad, like everything loses their mind. It's so funny. Anyway, Awakened Ultimate. Apply blind for 2 turns to primary and secondary targets. This is very, very nice. This would be one I might consider. How much do they sell? They sell it for like $30, $35, right? I'm not dropping $35. If they give this for $5, I would buy it. This is a good upgrade. It's not essential, but it's very good. It's blind for 2 turns to a group of clumped characters. Yeah, that's good. Alright. Special, Glaive Volley, 4 turn. Attack primary for piercing, clear speed up and apply slow. Attack all adjacents for piercing, clear speed up and not apply slow. This attack ignores defense up, unavoidable, cannot be blocked. Okay, I guess that's his gimmick. The T4 adds extra piercing to all characters, and then he also applies slow to all secondary targets. I think this is very nice. Not as nice as these guys, but it's very nice. It's a slow, it's more damage, it's more piercing damage from a character in the new stat tier. So it's a nice upgrade. Now let's look at what the Awakening does. Clear all negative effects from self, that's very nice, and then clear 1 debuff from all allies. 1 debuff I don't think is that effective, but clearing everything from self is very nice. It's a nice upgrade. If you're able to do this, I would recommend it. Like the passive, ultimate, special, all of these Awakened abilities are very nice. I would recommend them. None of them are essential or like impede his function in the game. So don't feel left out or that you're missing out on anything if you're not getting them. I don't get a lot of the Awakened abilities on these new characters. It's just the way it is right now. They are trying to make it where they're not like essential to the character's function. That way it's a nice upgrade for those who are willing to spend, but those of us that aren't, we're still able to use the character effectively. So yeah, don't feel FOMO. They're nice, but yeah. If you, I think in the blog they announced that there's gonna be some of his awakened abilities in an event store. If it's these three, I would I would say you could go for it. I don't remember what else is gonna be in that store. Um, if it's something, if there's like Crimson Gear and you're still chasing Mephisto, that might be where you want to go. If there's Purple Gear and you're looking for Odin, that might be where you want to go. But if those aren't the cases, some of these abilities are very nice. Now let's look at his basic. I don't know what this one looks like. Attack primary for piercing and rewind by 10%. This attack ignores defense up, unavoidable, cannot be blocked. So all of his attacks are unavoidable. So blind is useless on him. Evade is useless against him. Okay. The T4 adds 40% piercing, and more importantly, it means he repeats the attack once. So it's 400% total piercing, and it's him reduced. It's a 20% rewind. So that's a very, very nice upgrade. Alright, the Awakened ability gives him 20% extra crit damage on this attack. That's, if this is in the event store next to some Crimson Gear or Purple, don't go for this one. This is very Is it even Like, no, don't, not good. Okay. Yeah, I droned on a little bit, but yeah. Anyway, alright, ISO 8. He's a striker. Rewind on basic, even if it's just 10%, it's 10%. If you use his basic and then ISO, that's 30% total rewind. If you use his ultimate, that's 60% total rewind. That's a good chunk of rewind. So he's a striker. Just make sure there's enough vulnerables on the field for him if you're using him solo. On his team, I've already recommended Moon Knight and Agatha as raiders. We're gonna look at what the other characters are when they release. So there's gonna be a good amount of vulnerables on the field for him. So whatever comp you use him in, go for that. But if your Logan and Odin are occupied and you don't want to use them as skirmishers just to make Blade have an extra hit, I mean, it's my girl, I gotta shout her out. Blade is a hero brawler, which means Ms. Marvel is always going to assist him. So if you run Blade Striker, Ms. Marvel Skirmisher, you will always, always, always have a targeted rewind with Blade. So that's something to keep in mind. You're probably never going to use that. We have so many characters now that like you can probably slot in a character that's just going to be inherently more valuable than somebody that's there to make Blade do ISO hits. But keep it in mind. That's something to think about. All right. We talked about his ISO. Now, building. I've been saying this. If you have Mephisto, the Mystic section of the current raid is doable. If you have also Odin, it's easily doable. But I am only speaking to the current raid. I don't know if there's going to be further future content where that's not possible, where night crawlers are necessary, either soft or hard, or like something that calls out 5 Night Stalkers. I don't know that. I'm only speaking to what's in the game right now. This is an optional character because he's not needed for the current content if you have Mephisto. If you don't, go for it. Build the team. This is a nice team. It's a self-sustaining team with high damage. they are going to have the new meta stats. Go for it. And Blade is like one of the fast characters on the team. He has a lot of damage. He's gonna be very happy with all the stats you are able to put into him. So I recommend, if you are building this team, go hard on Blade. Do as much as you're able and willing to. Yeah. But I do have to make that note. Which for me personally, I have Mephisto and I'm close to Odin. So right now, I don't have a reason to build this team. And I'm not going to build Blade. I don't think he doesn't excite me as much. Like his kit. So for now, I'm I'm definitely not buying him. But when I unlock him, however long that takes, maybe by that time we'll have a new raid. I have no idea. But right now I don't have any intentions to build him. In terms of Dark Dimension, I think he's a great option for that. He has speed bar reduction. He has health steal. He has self drain. He has a lot of control. Well, not a lot, but he like clears speed ups, applies slows, applies defense downs everywhere. If you're able to awaken it, again, I don't know if it's going to be free to play available. He has a lot of blinds on his ultimate, even though that's on a high cooldown. But he is fast. I think he's 127 or 6. 127 speed. He's a good choice for Dark Dimension. That said, we already have a lot of good choices for City. Spider Society, fantastic. Robbie Reyes, fantastic. Sinister Six, great. I would probably put Blade over Sinister Six because those guys like generally want to have 3 members at least, whereas you can just put Blade with Spider Society. Yeah, look at what you're doing. He's Mystic, so that's a consideration. Look at what you're doing, how your gear lands, but he will do well in there. So keep that in mind. And I think that about wraps it up. We talked about his T4s, his awakened abilities. We talked about his ISO 8, my plans, Dark Dimension. Yeah, we're about it. Thank you for talking about Blade with me. Let me know what you're doing. Are you building him? Statistically, I would imagine a lot of people love this guy. I'm guessing a lot of people are just gonna build him because he's Blade. Let me know if that's the case for you. That's very valid. You must have seen my Captain Marvel. She was the first character to Purple 3. If you love a character, build them regardless of what's going on. That's my motto in this game. So let me know if that's the case for you. Let me know what your plans are. I'm very curious to hear. Thank you for going over Blade's kit with me. I hope to see you in the next one.